So when you do get here, you know, you take the plugs out, put the bases in, whatever you need to do. Take the plugs, throw them into the box. Don't just throw them alongside the fence. When you do get ready and start warming up, there's also should be a digger in the box if you need to clean it out so they're not sitting way up. Coach Schmidt can kind of show you on how that's done. Okay.
Strike oil, stop.
Yep. Then as you do warm up, everybody should be warming up in the outfield. Not standing on the line, but you'll have half the group on one side of the line, the other half out in the outfield grass. If you can, go out as far as you can to warm up. Don't warm up right here, or don't warm up in the infield. Grass infields, you never warm up in the infield. That's a no-no. If you see the other team do it, you just go over there as a coach and let them know, hey, we don't do that. On our big fields, everything's posted. It might even be here. There's a sign right there that says to warm up, I believe, out in the outfield. Okay? Coach is standing out there, even out farther. The farther you go to keep doing things, the better off it is where the majority of your playing is done. I know down at Bakken Field, the sophomores, every night they rotate. Even though they have a home side, the next night they're going to go warm up over there. The next night they go over here, so they're not always in the same spot wearing something out. Okay? That's as far as playing on warming up. If you're on the lines all the time, you're going to wear it out, especially the painted ones. If you're on the lines all the time, they're going to start getting wavy and everything else, so stay off the lines if you possibly can. No soft toss inside the fenced area. In other words, where you toss the ball and they hit it. We got plenty of green space here. We have plenty of green space at a lot of places, rather than doing it in here. I don't know, 3-4 years ago, we had trouble at Orchid Heights. We had the biggest war spot you ever had. Up in the corner, inside the playing area. You don't do that, okay? You can do it out some other place. That's how proud we are of taking care of our fields. Treat it as your lawn. If you got a nice lawn at home, you want big wear spots from somebody hitting? No, you don't want that. We're the same way. As far as soft toss goes, wiffle balls only or tennis balls. No baseballs, no softballs are hit into the fence. You'll notice some of the older places, you'll have a big belly in the fence. That's from years ago, that's what they would do. They didn't think it was a big deal. Yes, it is a big deal. And I think there's all kinds of wiffle balls and tennis balls around. What I did when I was coaching and my kids were younger, I used golf balls, wiffle ball golf balls. It's the best hand-eye contact you can do. If you can take a baseball bat and hit a little golf ball, wiffle ball, just think what you're going to do with a little bit bigger ball. So that's what I used all the time coming up through, okay? So that's just another thing you can use. They don't go very far. You don't have to chase them, okay? I see now out here, Coach and Mike, you have batting mats, right? On most of on most of the fields. Use these here. They're the greatest thing around. If you come in and you want to take hitting on the field or something, just roll this mat out and hit on it. You won't create a hole. You can hit on that with cleats. You can hit on it with whatever you want. Great investment. We already have them at the big fields at Adler, Bakken, and Sorensen. I think they already are there. So when they're there, use them, okay? High school's got them too. I'm sorry, Coach. You got them up there too. When you get done, you roll them up. That's all you have to do. Day of a game, if you come take hitting, throw that down first. If you ever watch the home talent team on Sundays or whatever, they come in 2 hours before they take hitting. They have that mat goes down. They don't pick it up till the game starts. They do infield, both teams and everything with that mat on the field. As soon as it's done, they roll it up, put it away. Okay, so it's a great thing to have. Things on the big fields, especially that have tarps on them, and we ran into this out at Adler with Coach Land and them. In the spring, especially out at Adler, it was very, very wet. So what happened was they would take them off when they practiced and they knew it was pretty damp. So they left them off overnight to help it air dry. Well, we come back the next morning and we see the tarps off and we go, who the heck was out there that never tarped the field again? And my supervisor, you know, so it takes two of us to go out there because it was windy, whatever. Well, in the meantime, Coach Land called and he explained to us that, hey, it was wet, we left them off to help it dry. Hey, no problem. And I think we talked about that, Coach, right? Yeah. Just communicate with us. You know that, hey, you left them off, there's no rain coming, it was pretty wet, whatever. But we thought that they forgot to put them back on, and it was one thing after another, and finally we found out what happened. Okay, I got two different kind of rakes here real quick. If the fields are wet, on these fields and Adler, you can never use a rake like this on these fields. This red stuff is only like maybe a ½ inch thick at the most. If you start using these when the field's wet and start turning it over and bringing the other, you just destroyed the field. For me, I don't even like these anymore. Same as that one. I got 2 or 3 of these down at Bakkens. That's kind of my field. And I would recommend to have some of these here because all you're doing is this. That's all you want to do in these fields that have any of the red stuff. Say you get on a field and it's wet, it's after 4 o'clock, we're gone, okay? This is the best thing to use right here. That's all you want to do to get it up a little bit to air dry it, okay? Like I said, I don't like those. I don't like those when the field's wet. The other thing, if there is a puddle, don't rake it in the grass. That's the biggest trouble we got up at Ramsey right now. We're a little bit low. Last year, whoever came up in the fall, they pushed all the stuff. It's all in the back of the grass. We got big holes. Okay? Push it out. Push the water out into the field, not onto the grass. So really, that's about all you can use on these. On the ones that have the red. And on the bigger fields, we have the egg lime, which is a little bit different. But we still rather just kind of use this type of a rake. Or if you do use these, you just got to go lightly. We don't want it, you know. And the same way at the end of the game or practice, and you're trying to get, you know, fill the holes in that. Don't sit there on any field and rake hard to think you're doing something. That's not what we're trying to do. Let's just walk over here real quick. Second base, look at the hole we got, right? Right here, we got a big hole. What happens at any base you slide at? Where does the dirt go? It goes that way, right? Well, look at the big high hump we have right here. This needs to be pushed back into the hole, right? And it doesn't take much to do. Just push it back in, okay? Now, if you do have a little water on hand, you can put a little water down first, but it kind of filled it in already, didn't it? But that's what happens. Third base is the same way. They slide that way, material goes that way, you push it back. First base, same way. They dive back in, push it back, okay? So this was a good example of them. And you don't need to use this end. On these fields, as loose as what it is, you can just go like that. Baselines, say this is a baseline, okay? Especially maybe on the big fields with grass. And even like these here, you never rake this way. Because what am I doing? I'm taking the stuff and I'm building up the edges by raking that way. You always rake with the base pass. And most of the time, that's all you gotta do is just pull a rake. A lot of times I just do this. That's all you need to do. A broom works great. It really does. You take a broom, especially on some of them, and you can, woo, and you can just go like this. A broom works great too. Doesn't just use, you know, for sweeping or whatever. Now, here's the other point real quick. You let us know. Our crews are told if they know who's playing, they need to clean these off before they leave the field after they get it ready. You'll see a lot of times, if they're all covered up and then you're sitting there digging around, that's not what we want. Our summer help are supposed to clean that off so you guys can find where you're at. And hopefully they know what game is being played now that we got a couple different age groups. We have 2 or 3 pegs. But that's their responsibility. We want to know that if it's not. Okay? They're really good about it. They're very good about it.
Yeah, it's good conditioning for the kids. So.
You don't have to go way back if there's nobody back there. You know, don't have to drag it way back there if you don't have to. And if you do, stay like a foot or so away from the grass. Because once that starts building up, you keep dragging, it starts building up. Stay away from that. Same way on the big fields. You know, stay at least a foot away from the infield grass. You don't have to get right up tight. We had trouble last year or the year before. All these fields have a water spigot, so we can get water to them if we need to. We had trouble on Diamond 4. We don't know what coach or what team it was, but they lifted up the cap and they kept filling it with this kind of stuff. Well, every time we went over there, we had to clean it out. We didn't know what was going on. So watch your kids on what they're doing. The same way, real quick, if there's a tarp on the field, no rubber cleats, no steel cleats on tarps. Last year I caught a group out at Adler. They were doing some fundamental stuff. They had steel cleats on the tarp on pitcher's mound. Well, that's a brand new tarp we had to buy there. Okay? So just remember that. You take the tarps off. If the field is tarped, especially on the big fields, I think that's where the tarps are. 99% of the time, the pitcher's mound tarp will be on when you get there. And that's the reason is because it's all clay. We got to keep the moisture in it. If we have that off all day, it'll just crack and dry out and it won't be any good. And just grab the tarps on home plate, put them on. Put the stakes all the way in the ground. Don't put them in 2 inches. Last year before, out at Adler, somebody was out there, only put them in a little bit. It really blows out here. Tarps were up against the fence, pulled all the grommets out. There we are again, okay? Just take a little time. There's hammers in it. Well, no, you can leave it up a little bit. And you can go like every 3rd one. You don't have to put one in every one. I like every 3rd one, that's enough. You don't need one in every one. And I don't know, maybe we want to cover that a little bit later here. But anyways, like I said before, just help our guys out, and they appreciate that. And like I said, we're very fortunate here in Middleton to have the fields we have, the complexes we have. We're doing a new bathroom concession stand down at Bakken Field. We hope to have it ready Memorial Weekend. The city, we got them to buy the material. All labor's free. So this first night, I haven't been down there in over 2 weeks. Bathrooms will be open down there just like all the other bathrooms will. If you want to use the concession stand, it's open to use. High school, same way, Bob. They can use it. And you've been down there, so we hope to get it done.